Major breaking news. The Supreme Court just ruled that a controversial ban on TikTok may take effect on Sunday.
So is TikTok really getting banned? The Supreme Court ruled today and ruled in a 9-way unanimous vote to ban TikTok in the US. Guys, is TikTok actually going to get banned this time? Even though it's a yearly thing, every year there's this glooming scare that TikTok is going to get banned and taken off of everyone's phones, just like what happened with Vine. Let's figure out if TikTok's really going to get banned this time. We do have this video from CNN. Pamela Brown shares what Trump said after court's TikTok ruling.
Major breaking news. The Supreme Court just ruled that a controversial ban on TikTok may take effect on Sunday.
No!
The ruling putting the spotlight on President-elect Donald Trump, and I just spoke to him on the phone. It was a brief conversation.
What?
And this was his first reaction. I was actually telling him about how the Supreme Court ruled.
Yeah, like he didn't know already. I'm sure he heard about it before her phone call. But this reporter is saying that she spoke to Trump right after the Supreme Court's ruling today, and he had this to say about their decision.
It ultimately goes up to me, so you're going to see what I'm going to do. Congress has given me the decision, so I'll be making the decision.
So this is really good news, guys. Since obviously Trump has shown that he wants to keep TikTok around, the fact that he's saying Congress has given him the decision to keep the app or ban it, I think we can most likely assume that Trump is going to keep the app. Now, why does the US government want TikTok to be banned? I feel like this is going to be a very popular question. Now, without actually reading any sort of news article, I know the reason why the US government wants TikTok banned. They see it as a national security threat. TikTok, like many other social media apps, Instagram, Facebook, collects a lot of personal information about you to use in their algorithm to sell you things and to keep you on the app more. The main concern here is since TikTok is owned by the parent company ByteDance, which is a Chinese company, the US government is worried that the Chinese government could be spying on US citizens and collecting all of our data. Now, I know a response that a lot of people have is, why does China care about my data? What do I have to benefit them? And I don't care, they can have it anyway. I think this has been a very popular response since a lot of Americans are flooding to the new RedNote app. And this is what RedNote is. It's basically just TikTok, but it's completely Chinese this time. Everything on the app is in Chinese. It's completely owned by a Chinese company. So people's response to this is, I don't care about my data. I don't care if it's China owning the app. If anything, if you're gonna ban TikTok, I'm gonna flood to something that's even worse. And RedNote has become the most downloaded free app on the App Store since Tuesday. When you actually look for the app on the App Store, it's not called RedNote, it's called Zhaohongshu, or however you say that. It's in Chinese, obviously. And we can talk more about RedNote later. Now that you know why the US government doesn't want TikTok around anymore, what does this actually mean? What's gonna happen to the app if it goes away? It's gonna be very similar to the Vine app, actually. You're gonna still have the TikTok app on your phone. You'll be able to use it, but under TikTok's current plan, people attempting to open the app after January 19th, which is when it's set to be banned, will see a pop-up message directing them to a website with information about the ban. There's also going to be an option underneath the message that gives users an option to download all their data so they can take a record of their personal information. But they did say that if the ban gets reversed later, TikTok would be able to restore service for US users in a relatively short time. I think this is a really important piece of information because this tells us that if TikTok does get banned on January 19th, thanks to President Biden and the US government deciding to ban it and pass it through the legislation, President Donald Trump can come in and reverse the ban and get TikTok back on the App Store, hopefully under new ownership with a US company. I do think it's pretty funny that back in 2020, President Trump was actually probably one of the first people that started the whole argument of wanting to get TikTok banned. And then as President Biden got elected, he continued the conversation, arguing that TikTok should be banned and that it's a national security threat. And obviously, back in January of 2024, President Biden signed a bill that would ban TikTok. It was signed into law on April 24, 2024, and just fully passed the Supreme Court. And we even have a senator coming out now saying that banning TikTok would be catastrophic. Let's see what he had to say. And note, he made this statement before the Supreme Court ruled 9 ways to uphold the ban. So they heard what this guy had to say and still decided to ban it.
Even as we're debating, TikTok users are flocking to a Chinese app with no reported presence in the United States.
RedNote.
That's what's happening in our country right now. So it's time to take a breath, try to step back, buy some time, try to figure this out rationally. But in no way should we have TikTok go dark on Sunday. It would be catastrophic. for just so many small businesses, so many creators, so many communities that have been created with no alternative available to them.
He has a very good point there. There is millions of small businesses that have been started off of TikTok, and having the app just be completely banned so fast would lead to millions of businesses failing or having much less sales. Obviously though, people can move to another app. I mean, it's happened before. TikTok was banned in India a few years ago. We can actually pull up some information on that. In June 2020, TikTok users in India bid goodbye to the app, which is operated by Chinese internet firm ByteDance. The government cited privacy concerns and said that Chinese apps pose a threat to India's sovereignty and security. So pretty much the same argument that the US government has. It also says that TikTok wasn't a one-off case. Today, India has banned over 500 Chinese apps, so it seems like India really doesn't trust the Chinese government. And it says, how did users react to this? This is the point that I wanted to bring up. TikTok users and content creators needed a place to go, and the ban provided a multi-billion-dollar opportunity to snatch up the big market. Within months, Google rolled out YouTube Shorts and Instagram pushed out its Reels feature. Both mimic the short-form video creation that TikTok has excelled at. Which, this is crazy. I had no idea that YouTube Shorts' whole motivation for being created was because TikTok was banned in India. And I know it's not even just YouTube and Instagram that rolled out short-form content to replace TikTok in India. I know that Snapchat also rolled it out. And of course, Facebook integrated Reels into Facebook. And there's a bunch of other examples. But the point is that if TikTok gets banned, there is alternatives, but nobody really wants to use them. A lot of people argue that YouTube Shorts is a complete cesspool, and Instagram Reels are even worse. I swear, my Instagram Reels are so insane sometimes. I'd be sending them to the group chat. TikTok's been posting videos of creators highlighting the ban, saying how it's gonna ruin their small businesses. They have a couple that they tweeted out here. Obviously, it is a real concern for people with small businesses, and obviously TikTok's gonna try to use any argument they can to not get banned. But then the CEO of TikTok decided to put out a video response to the Supreme Court decision this morning. So let's see what the CEO of TikTok had to say about the TikTok ban.
Hi everyone, it's Show here.
Alright, Show.
We have been fighting to protect the constitutional right to free speech for the more than 170 million Americans who use our platform every day to connect, create, discover, and achieve it.
I didn't know it was that much.
TikTok and all our users across the country. I want to thank President Trump for his commitment to work with us to find a solution that keeps TikTok available in the United States.
He must be saying this because CNN said that Donald Trump now has the final decision, since they apparently told him that he has more time to make the final decision and it's not Biden's full decision now.
This is a strong stand for the First Amendment and against arbitrary censorship.
Right.
As we've said, TikTok is a place where people can create communities, discover new interests, and express themselves, including over 7 million American businesses who earn a living and gain new customers using our platform.
Obviously, they're going to keep using that argument that there's so many small businesses on TikTok. How could you dare take away all this money from all these people? Like I said, there is alternative apps. India survived it, but it is a very valid argument. A lot of small businesses will struggle if all of a sudden their main platform is ripped away from them. So it is a valid argument at the end of the day.
Grateful and pleased to have the support of a president who truly understands our platform, one who has used TikTok to express his own thoughts and perspectives, connecting with the world and generating more than 60 billion views of his content.
Really?
For surprising and delighting us every day.
Alright, buddy. Yap.
As well as a source of inspiration and joy for years to come. Thank you. More to come.
Now, overall, I feel like that was a pretty positive video coming from the CEO of TikTok. Doesn't sound like he thinks that the platform's going to be shut down, and I don't really think so either. Sounds like he's been in talks with Donald Trump, and I don't think that Donald Trump wants TikTok to shut down. I want to propose a new thought. What if Trump is looking to buy TikTok? That could be interesting, but I don't know if a president could own a social media company. That would probably interfere with some sort of law somewhere, I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, I would be cool with it. TikTok did then put out a new statement 2 hours ago saying statement on possible shutdown. The statements issued today by both the Biden White House and the Department of Justice have failed to provide the necessary clarity and assurance to the service providers that are integral to maintaining TikTok's availability to over 170 million Americans. And then they ended off with saying unless the Biden administration immediately provides definitive statement to satisfy the most critical service providers, assuring non-enforcement. Unfortunately, TikTok will be forced to go dark on January 19. There was theories of possibly Kevin O'Leary buying TikTok or Elon Musk, but it seems that TikTok has shut down those offers. This article reads, TikTok denied a report that Chinese officials are considering a sale of the company's US operations to tech billionaire Elon Musk. And they even said that the report was pure fiction. So I think I kind of know what's going on now. Back in 2020, President Trump decided that TikTok was a national security threat. After that, President Biden continued it on. In January 2024, Biden signed the bill to have TikTok banned, and it now passed through all branches of the government. We have billionaires trying to buy TikTok to save it before it goes dark, but I think what's going to happen here, guys, is TikTok will go dark on January 19. We're probably going to have a few days, maybe even a week without TikTok. Obviously, Inauguration Day is January 20th, which is going to be one day after this TikTok ban. Now, I don't know if first thing first Trump is going to do when he gets into office is reverse this TikTok ban, but I have a feeling it's going to be one of the first things he does. And from the way that the TikTok CEO spoke, and from the way that Trump spoke to the CNN reporter, I think it's pretty safe to say that we're going to have TikTok back. But I think it's also safe to say that it's going to be banned on January 19th, and we're not going to have TikTok for a couple days, maybe even a week or two. But I don't think you guys should panic as much as other people are telling you to, that TikTok is just completely gone forever, because that's just not the case. But that's it for today's video on the TikTok ban. If you guys want to stay up to date on this TikTok ban, I'm going to be making more update videos after January 19th. We're obviously going to have to see what happens, and then after President Trump gets into office, we're going to have to see what happens with that as well. So if you guys want to stay fully up to date on everything to do with the TikTok ban, make sure you guys drop a like on the video, subscribe to Fusion here, and turn on those post notifications and set them to all. Anyways, guys, this has been Josh or Fusion here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.